Phoenix Suns, Nate, are going to the Western Conference Finals. But not only that, Nate, it gets better. They swept them 4-0. But it gets better than that too. They swept the 2021 MVP Nikola Jokic, okay, and his Denver Nuggets squad. All right, I'm gonna go to the scores for the 4 games. And I'm gonna talk about the stats. All right, so obviously all 4 games that the Phoenix Suns won. The first game was 122 to 105. The second game was 123 to 98. Third game was 116 to 102, and the fourth game was 125 to 118. In the first game, Bridges led the game in points with 23, and I believe Jermichael Green, he ended up leading in rebounds with 11 rebounds. Game two, Nikola Jokic led, and game 2 and 3, Nikola Jokic, Nate, led in points and rebounds. He had 24 points and 13 rebounds in game two, and he had 32 points and 20 rebounds in game three. But they still lost. Oh my God. And then game four, Chris Paul led in points with 37, and 2 players tied with 11 rebounds for game four. So going to the Phoenix Suns stats, I'm gonna be honest with you. Chris Paul was the MVP of this series. Okay, Chris Paul has done an amazing job with the Phoenix Suns team. He has really proven to be a great leader on this team time and time again. And because of him and obviously everybody else contributing, but his leadership is a big reason why they are going to the Western Conference Finals. So Chris Paul, he averaged 25 and a half points, 5 rebounds, and 10 assists, basically, with 1.5 steals. Then you go to Devin Booker. Devin Booker averaged 25 points per game, 8 rebounds, and 4.5 assists. Excuse me. Sorry, that was a blunder on me. The third best scorer on the Phoenix Suns, it was Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges had 16 points per game, 3.8 rebounds, and 1.8 assists with 1.5 steals. And then DeAndre Ayton, he had 14.3 points per game, 10.5 rebounds with 0.5 assists, and he ended up having 0.5 steals as well with 0.3 blocks. And then last but not least, Jay Crowder, he averaged 12 points per game, 5.8 rebounds, 1.5 assists. 1.5 assists and 1.3 blocks per game. So overall, Nate, the Phoenix Suns, they did a great job. You know, overall, they did. I mean, if you really look at it, Nate, overall, they did a great job. Field goal percentage, they basically had 52% from the field, and they had 42.5 from the three-point line. So when you really look at it, Nate, they did a great job, and they basically had 90% from the free throw line as well. Now, go to the Denver Nuggets, okay? Even though they didn't win, I can give a lot of credit to Nikola Jokic, okay? This man averaged 25 points per game, basically 13 rebounds, and 6 assists while having a 1.3 blocks per game. So when you really look at it, if the Denver Nuggets were going to win the series, he was definitely going to be MVP, but they did not win. The second best scorer on the team, Nate, was Torrey Craig, to be surprising, Nate. I'm sorry, not Torrey Craig, Will Barton, excuse me. I'm sorry. Will Barton, he was the second best scorer on the Denver Nuggets. He had 16.3 points per game, 4.3 rebounds, and 2.7 assists. Third was Michael Porter Jr. He had 15.3 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, 1 assist, and he had 1.3 steals. And last but not least, Nate, Monte Morris, he had 11 points per game, 1.5 rebounds, 5 assists, and he ended up averaging 0.5 steals and 0.3 blocks per game. So overall, Nate, when I look at this game, it's as simple as this. The Phoenix Suns just did better, man. They did better overall. Okay. When I look at the stats for the Denver Nuggets, they shot 43.5% from the field and basically 35% from the 3-point line. And they can get this, Nate. This is also something that really is concerning. They shot 65% from the free throw line. Like, you can't win like that. Okay. It's just the Suns offensively were that much better. They were more consistent on offense. Defensively, they did a great job this whole series of just stopping the Denver Nuggets. And I'll give them this. I'll give the Denver Nuggets credit on this. Okay. Games 3 and 4, they were somewhat close. Well, game 3 was somewhat close. It was 116 to 102. But again, Nate, game 4, it was 118 to 125, but games 1 and 2 were just blowouts. And it shows you how good this Phoenix Suns team really is. You know, we knew that they were good, but we really did. I feel like a lot of teams did underestimate them because obviously, you know, you got the Lakers and you got the Brooklyn Nets, you know, and then you put the Clippers in there and the Dallas Mavericks. Like, a lot of teams I really felt like underestimated the Phoenix Suns. And They're proving them wrong time and time again. Chris Paul has really had a resurgence in his career with the Phoenix Suns. He's done a great job. He's taken a huge leadership role in this team. Devin Booker is obviously turning into the player, is obviously developing year after year and he's growing. DeAndre Ayton looks like he's finally about to become that big center that everybody's been hoping for in DeAndre Ayton. And he's had a good couple of years. He's had a good couple of years, but it just seems like he's improving every year after year. And that big three for the Phoenix Suns, they're a very good big three. As for the Nuggets, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. If I gotta be honest, not having Jamal Murray for the series, Nate, I think that really did hurt them. Because given that Jamal Murray was there, I think it would have been a different story. But regardless, MVP's got to do MVP things, and Nikola Jokic did had a very good series as well. But at the end of the day, you can't rely on one player. One player is not going to win you. Is not going to win you the game. The Phoenix Suns had Chris Paul and Devin Booker averaging 25 points per game. And then on top of that, they had Mikal Bridges, who was averaging 16, and then DeAndre Ayton averaging 14 and a half, And then they even had help from Will Barton averaging 12. So, I'm sorry, not Will Barton, excuse me, Jay Crowder. I'm sorry, I'm confusing my play, mixing them up. But when you really look at it, Nate, overall, the Phoenix Suns were just that much better offensively. Defensively, they did a great job defending, which we knew the Phoenix Suns were a good defensive team. I felt like when Chris Paul really came in, Chris Paul is a good defender as well. I feel like he really did add on to it. So I got to give him a lot of credit as well. But yeah, they are going to the Western Conference Finals. They are going to be playing the winner of the Los Angeles Clippers and the Utah Jazz. Let me tell you something, Nate. I still have the Clippers going to the finals. Okay, I know they're down. But let me tell you something. How many times I have heard an analyst just trash Kawhi for being down 2-0 and be like, oh, that's it, he's done, and he comes back and wins. I don't know how many times I have to see it happen for them to realize that Kawhi Leonard can come back from that type of stuff. I still have the Clippers going and winning it all. I think, though, I'll say this, though, whether it's the Phoenix, whether it's the LA Clippers, or whether it's the Utah Jazz, I think that series is going in 7 games. Simple as that. But regardless, we're going back to the Phoenix Suns. Again, they had a great series. Congratulations to the Phoenix Suns on reaching the Western Conference Finals. Obviously, the whole work is not done yet. They got to wait to see who the winner is between the Clippers and the Jazz. As for the Denver Nuggets, again, it's back to the drawing board. This wasn't the best series for you guys. But again, next year is a whole new season. And we'll see what happens with the Denver Nuggets. Again, Jamal Murray will be back and healthy, so we'll see how that goes. And again, we'll see what happens with the Denver Nuggets, Nate.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest thing that really killed the Denver Nuggets is the fact that they literally missed Jamal Murray. That's just what it was. They made it a little bit further last year, but a lot of people say, oh yeah, courtesy to the play-in. But when you really look at it, they did kind of play a full season, so can't count that out. But when I look at this, Mario, yeah, like you said, the Phoenix Suns were just a dominant force that a lot of people didn't expect to be a dominant force. And I like that, because when you look at an underdog, Mario, and we talked about this with the Montreal Canadiens as well, you just don't expect them to be that. Right. And they take that to their advantage because they're not expected to be a top-tier franchise or at least a top-tier team in the playoffs.
And I can't believe we're calling this team an underdog. They're literally second in the West.
Yeah. Yeah, or at least a lot of people are, because a lot of people consider them an underdog against LeBron and the Lakers.
Right. And obviously, when you go up against LeBron, unless you're something crazy like the Nets or like the Golden State Warriors back when they had Kevin Durant, you're going to be an underdog.
You're going to be an underdog, absolutely. And that's what they're considered. Now they go in and sweep the Nuggets. They're just proving everybody wrong. And they're taking that underdog status to their utmost advantage because no one expects them to be that top tier team. You know what I mean? That's why you always got to look out for that underdog, because you just never know. I'm more scared of an underdog team than I am of a top tier team, because at least with a top tier team, you expect this team to be good. That's the expectation. Like the Brooklyn Nets, for example, we expect that team to be great because they got a super team going. I'd be disappointed if they don't win the finals. It's a failed season regardless. I don't care how injured. It's a failed season. It's that simple. Well, injuries, it's a different story, but still, if you lose the finals, you lose the finals, and that's that. But going back to the Phoenix Suns, yeah, Mario, honestly, the way the Phoenix Suns have been playing, I know I shouldn't count on Kawhi, but I got them going to the finals. It's just that simple. This team, I think it's Chris Paul's time. It's Chris Paul's time to go to the finals. And honestly, he deserves it. I mean, we already know he's a future Hall of Famer, but the one thing he doesn't have on his resume is a ring. So I really do think he deserves it. And I feel like if they play their asses off, they do what they continue to do this entire playoffs, they can go. They can do it. You know what I mean? But regardless, whoever they face, I do agree with you. It's going to 7 games. It's going to be a thriller. That is definitely going to be a seven. That's definitely going to be a 7-game series. But at the end of the day, you got the Clippers going to the finals. I'm going to go with the Suns. I'm gonna rock with the Phoenix Suns on this one. And honestly, my prediction for the if you want to know my prediction for the NBA Finals, I think it's going to be Nets and Suns. I think it's going to be Nets and Suns. That's going to be a really good series. But regardless, I could be wrong. So that's why it's a prediction. But with that being said, as for the Denver Nuggets, it's back to the drawing board. Once Jamal Murray comes back and he's healthy, maybe they can have better luck. I feel like that's what really killed them. So, but other things, they just couldn't capitalize on opportunities. That was another thing that killed them.
Great.
But other than that, Mario, there's really not much else for me to say. Best of luck to the Phoenix Suns moving on. Congratulations to them. As for the Denver Nuggets, best of luck to you guys in the offseason. It's back to the drawing board, and we'll see what happens with both teams moving forward.